Okay, so today we're going to learn how to make the Sawtooth star. To do that, we're going to need two contrasting fabrics. So we're going to start with some white, and we're going to use this piece and these squares to make these flying geese right here. So you're going to need one piece that's white that is 5.5 inches square, and then you're going to need 4 squares of color pieces that are 3 1/8 of an inch. So that's going to make your flying geese. So these points on all the way around. And then we're also going to need some squares for these corners. We're going to need 4 of those, and they are 2.5 inches. And then we're going to need our square for the center of our star, and that is 4.5 inches. So let's get started with the flying geese. So we're going to take our 4 squares that are 3 1/8, and we're going to draw a line on the back of them. So I'm going to use my ruler here, and it has a 1/4 inch marking along the side. I'm going to take that marking and line it up from corner to corner. Then I'll draw a line on the side, and that will give me my line where I can sew 1/4 of an inch away from the center. So I will just repeat that with all 4 of these squares. Okay, so now we're going to take our square and we're going to grab 2 of these smaller squares. And we're going to place them right side down, so right sides together on our square. And we're going to put one in that corner and one in the opposite corner. The lines will line up with each other, and the center of the square is going to overlap right here. So we'll just go ahead and sew along both of those lines. Okay, so I've got that sewn together. Next, what we'll do, I'm going to cut between those 2 lines that we just sewed, right down the center of the block from corner to corner. And so then we'll have 2 pieces like this. We'll go ahead and press them. Just press the points away from the white, just like that. Okay, so now we have 2 of these, and we're going to take our remaining 2 squares and we're going to place them on the white portion with the lines going up towards these points. And we're going to do the same thing and sew along each line. Okay, so we've got those sewn along the lines, and we're just going to do the same thing where we cut between those seams. So just from corner to corner we'll cut, and then that is what makes our flying geese. So we'll cut this other one, and then we're going to trim up the rectangles. So actually we need to press them first. Just get them nice and flat. Okay, so now I really like this ruler here. It's a flying geese ruler. It's from Quilting a Day. And it has 2 options. You could do a 4.5 inch flying geese if you hold it this way, or this end over here has a 2x4 flying geese. So you just line up the triangle markings that are on the ruler with your fabric, and then you'll just trim off the ends. So I just do those 2 sides, and then I flip it, and then I line up the bottom, the side, and then this lines up perfectly with that too. So we'll just trim off that side and the bottom, and then you have a perfect rectangular flying geese block. So we'll just continue with that just one more time. Okay, so there we have all of our flying geese. So next we need to put together our block. So we will grab our center piece, center square, and then we're just going to put the flying geese along all the corners with the points creating a star, just like that. And then our last little squares we'll place in the corners to have our star. So then we're just going to sew it together like a 9 patch. So we'll just take these 2 pieces, sew them together, add this piece, and then once each row is done, we'll sew the rows together. Okay, so we've got our rows sewn together. So let's do a quick press before we get sewing together the strips. So for these, I like to sew them towards the solid piece, or the away from the points, I guess. And if we do that on all of them, then the seam should nest. So if you press the seam towards the center on this one, it should nest just perfectly with your other pieces. So just press all of the seams away from the points, and then they will nest together, and then the seams should line up just right when you sew them all together. So we'll sew this here, and we'll sew the bottom one, and then our block will be done. Okay, so we've got our strips sewn together, and we'll just give them a quick press, and then we're done. So this is for a 8-inch square block. Wow, I just mangled that. This is for an 8-inch block. I'll have different size options on my website that you can print off.